Aloha, my friends. Today we're going to dive into 4 core beliefs about Buddhism and Shamanism and see if they're the same or different, if they complement each other or deny each other. If these are 2 paths that you can learn about at the same time and actually walk at the same time. Because there are many mountains up the path of enlightenment. You know, the mountain of enlightenment, there are many paths up it. It's actually a giant mountain range. And so some of these mountains work really well together. Some don't. Some don't complement each other. You know, similar to some tastes. Like chocolate and peanut butter taste great together. Mango and tahine taste great together. Chocolate on salmon, not so great. So it's this idea that with belief systems, do they complement each other? Do they work together? So the first one we're going to dive into here is karma and cosmic justice. So in Buddhism, there is the belief that karma happens, that there is cause and effect, that as you live your life, each thing you do in life causes a energetic ripple, a vibration, a frequency that flies out of you. And that frequency then hits other people and hits other things in existence, and that bounces back to you. And so when those things bounce back to you, that greatly shows how you are experiencing your reality and what is happening for you during that time. And if all those ripple effects can't make it back to you in this life, they'll happen to you in the next life, and that's about rebirth. But for karma, it's that direct ripple effect that comes back, the literal law of cause and effect. So your mental, verbal, or physical actions. So your thoughts, your actions, your beliefs. And a lot of the times our beliefs are caused by we have our core belief, and then that creates a feeling. That feeling creates a thought. That thought creates an action. That action creates a result, and that result either reinforces our belief or creates a new belief. And so in shamanism, it's also that example that while they don't use the term karma, it is believed that there is, you know, where good actions go, or principles are to happen, they come back to you. And that the way you show up in life, there are consequences to that. And so if you're always a liar, then even if people don't know you're lying to them, eventually that vibration builds up and people start to go, there's just something not right about that guy. Something I just don't trust about that person there. You know, even though you never caught them in a lie, that vibration builds up. Same as if someone's like an adulterer, you know, is a pathological liar. They believe it so much that that ripple will still show up there. And so shamanism doesn't use the word karma, but it does believe that the spiritual world and the physical world have a balance and harmony must be maintained there. And so whatever often happens in the physical gets, you know, ripple effects in the spiritual and will get restored in both. And so whatever's happening to you spiritually will happen to you physically. And sometimes to restore something physically, it has to happen spiritually, or there's spiritual damage, there's soul damage done, or there's soul joy done. These aren't just always bad things. Good things are done too. When you do good things, the soul rejoices. And so these ripple effects go back and forth. Or if something's happened spiritually, it might show up physical. You know, if you've burnt yourself out spiritually, you might catch a flu or a cold just to slow you down to let your soul heal for a time. Or if you're not dealing with some emotional baggage or some emotional damage, that might actually lead into like turning into cancer. Or it could just turn into like a cold where again you got to slow down. The next core belief of Buddhism and shamanism is that there actually is no self. You know, this is a little bit of again of your body is in your spirit's not in your body. But the idea is that this refers to the concept that there is no permanent, unchanging self or soul. Clinging to the idea that there's a fixed self is an illusion, and it leads to suffering. And so when we die in this life, there is an aspect of us that will be reborn into the physical realm, into Earth again, or into a third dimensional realm. The part of us that is attached to being here and desires to continue on that path and continue to like learn, grow, or has an attachment to the Earth cycle does that. But the part of us that doesn't, that is not attached to being here on Earth, goes on to the other dimensions and does other things and things. So at that point, there is no one self or soul. There are aspects of us. There are assemblage points within us. There are states of consciousness that are combined right now as you are a multidimensional being having a human experience. And so that will split apart as time goes on when we pass away from this life. And the part of us that is attached to being an Earth warrior comes back and continues to be an Earth warrior. Or the other part of us might go on to other things. Or the part might go off for a while. You might go together into higher realms and then come back together later. You know, but the idea that you are just this one soul and this is the only soul you've ever been and this is the only being that exists and only has reincarnated every single time is not true. But at the same time, you are an aspect of that. You are a part of that. You are your own wave within the ocean. Now, shamanism believes that there is the view of the self that is fluid. And so who you are. You are a manifestation of your ancestors, but you are also a manifestation of the nature. And so nature brings forth an energy and a vibration, and your ancestors bring forth an energy and a vibration, and that combines into who you are. And your soul comes in from the spirit realm, and that's who you are. And so there is always this connection that there is no just you, but you are connected to these aspects. There is no individual self. You are not here by chance or happen sense, but there is a purpose behind it. And so whether you are an animal guide or a human or a plant or a rock, these are all aspects of you. And other animal spirits you have been carry on with you, and those become part of your spirit guides. And so that sometimes when you pass on from this life, you become a spirit guide too, or you might go off and do something different on a different path and on a different canvas and paint in those worlds and paint with those colors of the wind. And it's much part of a larger spiritual ecosystem than just one individual self, one individual tribe, one individual family, one individual planet. So both traditions view that the self is not fixed, that the independent entity that is you does matter, and that how you live your life matters, and you do have your own hopes and dreams and desires. But those hopes and dreams and desires, it is important to look at them and realize you are connected with the inner universe and on the spiritual world. So move fast forward to today with a modern world. How does this apply to you? How does this apply to your life? And it's looking at the concept of, is there an aspect of me that, I am doing what I'm doing in life, I am being who I am being? Are those aspects connected to my ancestors, to my spirit, to my other incarnations, and leading into who I am being? And it is part of my purpose and goal, a part of the role I am playing in the universe, the mask I am wearing, the persona I am playing to help out the grand being of Pachamama? Or are these programs I've picked up from around me that actually don't serve? Things I've learned from parents or leaders or media or, um, society that actually don't serve. Look at those. Look at the way you're showing up in life and ask yourself, is this part of my universal being of who I am truly being naturally? Or are these programs that don't serve me? So our third core principle here of how Buddhism and shamanism are the same is the concept of enlightenment or spiritual awakening, nirvana, the shamanic transformational path. So there is this concept within Buddhism that the ultimate goal is to attain nirvana, a state of liberation from suffering and from the rebirth cycle, where actually you ascend past the rebirth cycle. You do not reincarnate here on earth anymore, and you go off onto a new path, a new way of being, and that is a different Buddhic path, a different next level. It's the next high. They don't believe in they don't believe in the tree of life, but they, like with the chakra system, that the crown chakra is actually the root chakra of the next set of chakras. And so that's what they believe. They go to the next set, which is beyond this, and that is nirvana, a state of peace and tranquility, which is then also a new path that is not often talked about. In shamanism, it is a spiritual journey which leads through personal transformation or enlightenment through mystical experiences, spiritual initiations, and the connection with the divine or the spiritual realms. So shamanism is a lot about having connections to spiritual experiences. So getting into transcendental states. So having shamanic journeys. So like vision quests, drum journeys, breath works, meditations, certain herbs and plants, doing master plant dietas, doing powwows, sweat lodges, pipe ceremonies, other ceremonies, and so forth will actually drive people to have shamanic experiences or to enter into shamanic states, have great experiences and downloads, and then act here in that life. But those shamanic states is also where they go after this life and where they pass on. And so more you can go into a shamanic state here in this life, then it's that concept of like, if you die in this life, you don't really ever die. And so more you've gone into those shamanic states, when you die, it's a realm you've been. You've been there. You understand that realm. You know how to communicate with that realm better. And it's like returning home. It's like returning to a place you've been before. It's like your home away from home. It's your higher state of being, self. So both traditions aim for a higher state of being or a higher state of consciousness, and they dive deeper into that. And within shamanism, even in this life, we talk about assemblage points or higher states of consciousness. And when you move your assemblage point, you reach a heightened state of consciousness within this life. And if you'd like me to make a video about that, you can comment down below and I'll make a video about that. So these are how these traditions are very similar and how they work together and how actually, attachment leads to suffering. But being natural and going with the flow of things serves us. And that the goal is to reach enlightenment and that our actions matter in this life and the way we do things matter. So if you'd like to hear more things about how shamanism and Buddhism compare and whether they can be walked at the same time together, there's a video right here you can watch. My name is Garth Wolf, so we're just meeting. And if you did get value of this and had fun, please like, subscribe. Have a great day.